Yo, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Key to the Streets. Episode 11 here. We got 39 more. We're going to keep cranking. We're going to keep this thing rock and rolling. So today I was thinking about it. I was like, what do I want to give the YouTube channel today? And at first I was going to go over an novation agreement that we're closing on this Friday. And I was going to go over it and exactly what we dealt with the past like 2 weeks in order to get this thing over the finish line. And then I had a really interesting call with a new wholesaler, and this new wholesaler is just getting into the business. Literally hasn't done a thing yet, and they're like, "Holy crap! I don't know where to start. I don't even know what the contracts are like. I really don't get the business." So I'm like, you know what? I think the YouTube channel would benefit from just bringing this stuff back to the basics. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to bring it back to the basics, and I'm going to break it down in a real simple form of what I would do if I just got back, if I just started into the business. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So essentially, there's two parts of wholesaling. That's it, to keep it very simple. There's acquisitions and there's dispo. Now, acquisitions is going out and getting a contract. Now, there's so many different ways to generate leads, but just for me, I go directly to seller, cold calling, and texting. So we can kind of talk about that. But essentially, what acquisitions is marketing and sales. It's going out and marketing to buy sellers and getting them under contract and creating this agreement, what we call the purchase and sale agreement, right? Now, what is dispo? Dispo is essentially going out and taking one of these purchase and sale agreements and going out and finding a buyer. And what dispo is essentially getting this buyer to sign something called an assignment. So what happens is this purchase and sale agreement is in place. So an acquisitions powerhouse goes out there and freaking markets to sellers and gets somebody under a purchase and sale agreement. So like this is us. This is pretty much all we focus on. We don't really focus on dispo at all. For me, dispo isn't my thing. Nothing against dispo. It's just for me, what fits my personality is going directly to a seller, negotiating with them and getting them under contract. That fits my personality, and managing a whole sales team. Like that's for me. Dispo is not for me. I've done it, tried it, but just not for me. But essentially what this is acquisitions goes out and gets a purchase and sale agreement. And then a dispo powerhouse has a bunch of these people and they have a bunch of buyers in their pipeline. So what they do is they essentially say, "Hey, buyer, I have this purchase and sale agreement here. Do you want to take the rights to this purchase and sale agreement? AKA, do you want to buy a house with the verbiage in this purchase and sale agreement?" And they say, "Yeah, I would. Where do we have to be at?" Well, this purchase and sale agreement is at $100,000. You can buy this contract off of us for 20 grand. So essentially, acquisitions sells this purchase and sale agreement to this buyer for, let's just say, 20 grand. Now, on this assignment agreement, this states that this buyer is essentially buying this purchase and sale agreement for $20,000. So the buyer is all in at 120K. So it's important that we treat these two different departments as two different departments and as completely separate businesses, because they both have different processes, systems, sales processes, all that type of stuff. So I treat these things completely different. For me, I heavily focus on here. Okay. That's it. I have a massive sales team that goes out and freaking markets to sellers, and they're freaking badasses and negotiating and doing all the things. Then we get this thing locked up. And for me, because I have a brand in the market, I have a decent amount of buyers just in my hand, right? That I that I have relationships with that I just grown to know over the past couple of years of me being in the business. So they will buy some of our deals, but the majority of our deals are actually sold through a dispo company, somebody who has a bunch of buyers, because that's not for us. We don't go out and we don't talk to buyers every single day. We're not like pulling lists for buyers to talk to buyers in order to get them in our pipeline. That's not what we do. That's somebody else's job. So here's the advice that I gave this wholesaler. I'm like, listen, man, when you're first starting out, it's hard to figure out where to direct your time. Should you direct your time to acquisitions or should you direct your time to dispo if you want to wholesale? Right. And sometimes it's hard to figure that out. So here's what happened with me in the beginning. With me in the beginning, I did absolutely everything. I was wearing a bunch of these things, a bunch of hats, right? And that's a terrible hat, but I was wearing a bunch of hats, right? I was wearing everything in the business. I was doing lead management. So I was following up with leads. I was also doing data. I was importing data. I was managing the virtual assistants. Like I was doing the on-site appointments, the sales. I was even going out and finding these buyers. Like I was doing absolutely everything. In doing that, I found out my superpower. My superpower is going out and talking to sellers and getting them locked up. It's doing the acquisitions, right? I have a freaking killer 8-step sales process. If you guys haven't watched that video, go back to my channel and watch it. Like I grew that sales process and built that sales process out of me just honing in and focusing on acquisitions because that's what fits my personality. That's what I'm good at. So I'm like, let me triple down on that and become a freaking acquisition powerhouse and let somebody else take care of the dispo side. So I got this down pat. Like acquisitions, that's my shit. Dispo, I've even tried to build the dispo department, and I'm just like, dude, you know what? Not for me. I'm going to keep building the brand, and buyers are just going to come in my world like they do. And if we get a contract, I'm going to try to get it to one of our buyers. But if, there's not a buyer in our pipeline that doesn't fit the deal for us, then we're just going to send it to a dispo company and they could take care of it because that's their job. They love people like us, right? Now, if you're a dispo company, there's a bunch of people like Jamil. Jamil Damji is a person who focuses heavily on dispo. That's pretty much what his company called Keegley, they're nationwide. That's what they're built off of. They're built off of going out and finding buyers and essentially marketing to people like us for contracts, right? So here was my advice. I'm like, dude, it's very, very hard to figure out exactly what you want to do. So there's a couple different things. If you have absolutely no idea of your personality type and you're just like, dude, I don't even know where to start. I'm freaking lost. So what I would do in that event is I would just I would taste everything. Like I would try everything. I would be underwriting a bunch of deals. I'd be trying to talk to sellers. I'd be trying to talk to buyers. I'd be tasting everything and then find out what best fits my personality. Like for me, I started realizing me talking to buyers isn't the thing for me. So I tripled down on acquisitions, but it took me going out and talking to buyers to figure that out. Some people are the complete opposite. They're like, dude, I freaking love talking to buyers. I'm a real estate agent. I talked to a bunch of buyers already. I'm really freaking good at it. I'm just going to hammer dispo. Or I'm a hard money lender and I talked to a bunch of buyers already. I already have a bunch of them in my pipeline. I'm going to hammer dispo. Then cool, do that. Or I have a background in sales. I used to work on the floor at Mercedes. Like I freaking crush sales. I love sales. It's my shit. Dude, go freaking hammer acquisitions. You already know what you need. So what I'm suggesting is I would essentially, if I were you, if you have no idea what the heck you're like, what your personality type is or where you fit in the business, go try a bunch of different things. You're most likely not going to gain any traction, like as far as making a shit ton of money in the beginning if you're trying all the things, because you're not going to be consistent in one. You need to be consistent in one in order to start making money. But what I would suggest is go try all the things and then figure out what makes sense for you and triple down on it. And why am I saying triple down is because, like I just said, if you don't triple down on one thing, then you'll be wearing way too many hats and those hats won't be filled, right? You'll be wearing one hat at one point and another hat at another point, and just your business won't be fulfilled. So just treat these things as two separate businesses. Go find exactly what you jive with and hammer it. If this video brought y'all any value and these Key to the Streets episodes been killer for y'all, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Later on this week, I'll probably be going over the novation agreement that we're closing on at the end of the week, and just going over how we got that deal done and the things we had to overcome and all that type of stuff. But we'll do that later on the week. Tomorrow, me and Daryl have Wholesale Hard Knocks. So Wholesale Hard Knocks, me and Daryl get on there and we just chop it up. Freaking everything wholesale, going over it tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time on my YouTube channel. Be there. These Wholesale Hard Knocks episodes are freaking killer. I'll see y'all there. Peace.